Hello, this is Daniel Michael from Warrior Seed. Meditation is a weapon. And today's guest is someone who, despite whatever issues or situations arrive, is, in my opinion, not someone who is living as a background character in his own story. It is author, poet, community promoter, and explorer, Mr. Alva Moses. Welcome, Alva.
Thank you.
And briefly, we were in rehab together, and I always enjoyed his commentary in the groups. It was a little, maybe more than a little offbeat, but always interesting and from different angles. And so let's start. What is the name of your book?
The name of my book is Ripples of My Life. Basically, I named it that because I felt like I was like a pebble in this big water, and I was being thrown, and I was making changes in my life with my addiction and also with choices I made. Like when you said about us being in the Wells house, you know, you always had a different approach. I always remember the one thing that stood out was you talking about the Iceman.
Oh, Wim Hof.
Yeah, with the breathing technique.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always enjoyed the conversation with you. But to get back to what I was saying is within my book, it took me maybe 2 years because I had poems already put together. And I kept writing and kept writing. And as I wrote, I was able to use that writing as therapy for my soul to like chink at the armor that was protecting me because I was still in trying to find me, you know, find who I was. I'm still finding me because I would hide. The reason I was doing drugs, I was trying to hide within that. I didn't have to be myself. And I was trying to have everything be changed. You know, a Band-Aid per se, you know, but as I kept ripping the Band-Aid off, I kept finding the traumas. My dad was an alcoholic. My grandmother, which is his mother, was the one trying to protect me from him. Different things happened in this part of my life. I was always in the chaos. I was always causing trouble. And then when I was about 5 or 6, I was molested by my sister. When I got into high school, I wanted to play sports, but that never went well. I was always looking for attention while hiding. My life in school, I was bullied when I was younger, and then I fought back, and I kept going. Tried to be a Marine. That didn't work out. They put me in the pork chop platoon, which was for people who were overweight. I ended up not really dating. I eventually found my wife, my first wife, which is named Denise, and just kept going from there. She was awesome, and within 5 years it didn't work out, and then I looked for an excuse to jump. I started drinking a lot. I basically was carrying on a family tradition, which I didn't want to, because I didn't want to be nothing like my father. I kept moving and moving on, trying to erase memories. I ended up getting married a second time, but before that, I was partying into the sleep. There was one time there was a girl who helped me learn about Robitussin and the effects that Chusky emit. And we called it Robotripping. She controlled me with that. And while we did that, she asked to use my car, which was my mother's car. I said no. She took the keys. She ran me over. I went to the hospital. When I came back, I was going to press charges. But then there was a knock on the door. And I looked at the door. I seen this lady. And then I looked down. I saw a small person. Not a kid, but like a dwarf.
Oh, okay.
And they gave me my keys. I guess the person who stole it gave the keys to him, and he brought it back.
All right.
You know, because I always use the analogy. I was peeing in a tornado and expecting not to get any pee on me and come out smelling like a rose and not pee. But I always, did the same thing expecting different results. I continued, got married a second time, moved on. My mom got sick. And when my mom died, I couldn't take it. Me and my wife divorced. Things went up and down. She always came back into my life. We always had that connection. But always within that connection she was like a bad girl. And I liked bad girls at the time. And I kept chasing her. And within that chase, some parts I lost myself. I couldn't find myself. I used heroin the first time, actual heroin. And then within the off and on relationships, I did heroin and different things with her. Did crack. Shot up for the first time. That was one of my nevers.
Mm-hmm.
Went through so many rehabs, so many different overdoses. And enough was never enough. But within that part, I ended up during close to COVID, went to a place called a Turk House down in Baltimore.
Heard it, yeah.
And with that, I was there for 30 days. When I got out, they took me to a place to be, for a little bit longer term. And they gave me a test. We found out I had COVID. So they were going to isolate me for so many days. I decided I wasn't going to do that. And I was going to get an Uber and go into Park Heights and get high. I called some people from Carroll County. They came down, and within them couple hours, overdosed for the first time that night in that car. And with that, I talked myself out of going to the hospital with the police and with people from the ambulance. And that night, when everybody left, I still had stuff left in my pocket. And I decided that I would end up doing that at some point. So this girl that I completely adored, that I met in rehab, she sent a text message. You chose the drugs over her, and sent a picture. The next thing I knew, that I just woke up off of life support. When I woke up off the overdose and on life support, I ended up moving my hand for the first time. And that was hope. That because before they said I was going to be a vegetable, but the person who was there every day and the people who checked on me made sure things was better. They ended up putting me in a place where I could, it was like a old folks home, or like a home where I could work on things.
Mm-hmm.
Like I forget what they call them. Like a rehab.
Yeah, something like it.
Yeah.
Like a
where you can walk, where you have
physical rehabilitation or something like that.
So I went into that. I had a trach, I had a feed tube, all that came off. And I started learning how to walk, learn how to talk. I was there for a month, and within that month, I went back to Westminster. I was there for a while. I had my toe cut off, and I came to Hagerstown.
Oh, wow. Can I ask one question? You had to learn how to talk again?
Yeah, because of my trach.
Ah, wow. Okay.
And with all that, coming into Hagerstown, I didn't want to be here. I could barely walk, could barely talk. And I went to the Wells house. I was in the Wells house for 6 months. Then I relapsed. And when I relapsed there, I went back to Westminster for a day. Came back to the Wells house. They let me back in. And with that, I ended up I thought everything was hopeless. I ended up getting the papers saying that I could move into my apartment. That I got approved to be in an apartment. I relapsed right after I got my apartment.
Mm-hmm. Very normal.
And after that, I worked a somewhat program with a sponsor, but it was more towards my second year that I ended up, or half of it, I started working better. And I always had plans or wants to do a book, and that's where that came into fruition. I ended up going to gatekeepers, and they allowed me to do poetry at the beginning when I first came to Hagerstown.
Yeah, they're a good group.
They are a very good group.
Mm-hmm.
So that just put the cherry on the cake, which helped me learn how to speak and do poetry. I contributed them for all that. With that, I ended up writing the book, promoting the book, doing different events with Hagerstown, Washington Goes Purple.
Okay, yeah, I'm familiar.
And just kept moving. I've spoken at council meetings. I do poetry events all around. And I just keep it moving.
For those that don't know, Washington Goes Purple, I have the t-shirt. I'm not wearing it now, but yeah, there's t-shirts, Washington Goes Purple. It's a recovery thing here in Hagerstown and Washington County, I think in general, right?
Yes.
Now, a lot of people, and you and I both run into this in rehab, they get clean for a while, they think everything's going to be great. Now, everything is, of course, better because you're sharper, you got your mind back, you got your body somewhat back. But anxiety, depression, all these things, they can still hit, and it's still, to me, it's a daily thing where we're just dealing with it, regardless how far away from the substance we've been. Any commentary on that, or your opinion on that?
Yes. I believe the foundation that I built with a nice network, with people I can call,
Big one.
with therapists, people who help me go shop, different avenues with that. I believe that's always helped. But when life and strifes, I set back sometimes and look at it. A little isolation, and if it gets too much, I know I gotta get help, because depression is real. Mm-hmm. And I have to advocate for myself.
Absolutely. So Alva, what are your future plans and events maybe coming up? I know you do the poetry readings. Of course, you have your book. And could you let maybe folks know where they can find you?
I have an event at Next Chapter Bookstore, which is on West Washington.
Okay.
I have that coming up on the 25th. Starts at 5 o'clock, goes till about 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm going to do an event which is in Baltimore, and that's me kind of coming full circle.
Right, going
down
back.
near Park Heights.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay.
Yes.
I like it.
That's really awesome. And now I do events all over the place with the help of Eliza's house. I'm the community liaison for Eliza's house. I do a lot of stuff on Facebook. I try to do my free verse, which is me just doing poetry right off the top of the dome. And one thing I need to say about Hagerstown. Mm-hmm. Hagerstown kind of has had a bad rap about being called Little Baltimore. Mm. And I've been to Baltimore, and there's maybe, this town is so different, Baltimore's very different, but this is not Baltimore. And with what I see here, I see there's a lot of hope. I see the Mayor McIntyre, Erica Bell, all the other council moving forward to try to change this place. And with the stadium and all that stuff that's going on, and with what Gatekeepers is doing to help the community.
Yeah.
Julia and Lenrona, who are some of the people that help run Gatekeepers. I'm very involved with different parts of stuff in like council, and I like to watch what goes on there. Mm-hmm. I like to speak at council meetings. And I love to give a big shout out to Bill Johns from True North.
Okay.
He happens to have been one of my mentors, and he helps people get back and forth with rides that are in different places, like in Lasting Change, and things accordingly. I've always dreamt about having a chance to do something. I have that opportunity now. Yeah. And that's what the 12-step program that I work has done for me. And, today, everything's been a blessing. I've got to come out and do everything. Who knows what the future holds? Could I run for something? That could be a possibility.
Sure.
But the possibility is, I'm going to do what would be good for me, like health-wise, life-wise. And the one thing I didn't mention is the seizures that I do get. I think that's been one of the things that has added to my intrepidness of being scared a little bit, but I still keep going full speed ahead. And I appreciate being here, Daniel.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
It's been an honor. So I have one question for you.
Yeah.
With your life and everything that's been going on, what's one word that you could give all the people listening? One word.
Drive. To me, it would be drive. Drive, to me, is you don't have to be the most intelligent. You don't have to have everything all figured out, because a lot of guys, they can know every single thing about, let's just use recovery as an example. Oh, I've got all the books. You don't have to be the smartest. To me, it's about action and drive, discipline, systems, etc. It's, are you present for yourself, or are you just spinning in the hamster wheel and hoping things work out? So yeah, drive. Absolutely. And I want to agree with you on Hagerstown too. I mean, there's an art community here. There's investment opportunities for affordable properties. Like if you're looking for that kind of thing, there's plenty of jobs around here. But you're right, some people, the locals, will talk it down. But actually, this is not some forgotten Appalachian town like some if you go further out west. So, Alva, where can they find your book?
Books on Amazon. If
Great.
you type in Ripples of My Life and type in Alva Moses, you'll be able to find it there. Also on Instagram, I'm Alva the Creative. And on Facebook, I'm Alva Moses.
All right. And I remember on the phone, because I still remember the conversation a little bit, and you were saying, why did you pick me for an interview? And it's exactly what I talked about in the intro, is you're someone that is living, just like the word I said, you asked, with some drive, despite whatever is going on, either physically, mentally, it's a daily battle. And you're someone who is doing it. You're pursuing things, and not only just pursuing things, but you're being part of the community, and you're exploring and finding the community. And there's the drive again. You're going out there and finding it.
I tried. We all tried. That's why the rooms matter. Metal chairs, bad coffee, good honesty, where we learn that surrender isn't weakness, it's survival. Somewhere along your climb, God took a voice cracked by life and turned it into a signal flare for people like me, still finding our footing on the mountain you showed me. That redemption doesn't wear a halo. Sometimes it wears weight. Sometimes it limps. Sometimes it still shakes when it talks about yesterday. And somehow that made me believe again, not in perfection, but in progress. So this isn't worship. This is respect for walking it out loud, for letting God work through scars instead of hiding in them, for proving that dreams don't die in Antioch, they get forged there.